price of one, I guess you could say. Want to encourage everybody to, and it looks like, did it cut out again?
No, you're good. We hear you, Brian.
Okay. All right, thanks. We're just getting some really weird feedback on our end. Okay. Want to make sure that you understand that this is a Q&A call. So as we're going through, we've got some content that we're going to cover here at the beginning of the session that we think is going to be helpful for everybody on the call. But you want to use that time to think about any questions that you have that you would like some help with Mortgage Coach. So this is a Q&A call, so please, benefit from it. Anything that you've encountered in building presentations throughout the week, it could have been, a week ago, this week, or even today with a particular presentation that you'd like some more details on, that's what we're here for. So use the time that we're introducing the content that we want to cover at the beginning of the class to think about those questions, and then go ahead and type those questions in the question area of the GoToWebinar control panel. That would be great. So again, this is for you folks. Make use of it, benefit from it. Thank you. So today's content, we're going to go ahead and we're going to kick it off with some polls here first, so we can get a little bit of, I guess, an idea as to where you folks are at with Mortgage Coach and how you're using it. So let's go ahead and kick off those polls. Star, if you want to go ahead and start off.
Sure, Brian, thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm going to launch a poll really quickly, and let me find the right one. So today, the first poll that I'm going to launch right now, right in the webinar, it states, what are you most likely to respond to? I know we're always on the go. We have our cell phones, our mobile devices linked up with us, maybe sync with your email, but what are you most likely to respond to first? Is it your text messages or your emails? So if you'll be so kind to just answer this polling question as honest as possible, just so we can have a better understanding what you're doing today in today's operation. So we have about 83% that says text messages, 86 text messages, about 14 says email.
Which is, the majority of what I was kind of anticipating. You're much more likely, just like your borrower, to respond to a text more quickly than an email, because you get throughout the day. I mean, if you're like me, you probably get hundreds of emails, but when that text pops up, you're more likely to respond to that. So the thing that I want you to start thinking about is, in delivering your Mortgage Coach presentations to your borrowers, keep that in mind. You want them to view the content that you took the time to build that Mortgage Coach presentation. So here's another question for you. Keeping that thought in mind, here we go. We're going to go ahead and launch this next one. So how are you currently sending your total cost analysis presentations? Are you sending them via text or via email? Let's get a little bit of feedback on that. So how are you currently sending those presentations off to your borrower? And we're looking for I'm hoping that everybody's saying, there it goes. Again, some issues. Okay, so it looks like the majority of you are sending them off via email. So you might want to keep that in mind, that just as you're more likely to respond to a text, put yourself in your borrower's shoes, okay? That way you can make sure that you can get an opportunity to get that presentation that you built viewed by your borrower. So think about delivering your presentations to your borrower via text. Now you're probably going to be wondering, okay, what's the next step? If I'm going to deliver it to my borrower via text, how am I going to do that? That's one of the things that we're going to cover in the training session today. But I want one more presentation, or one more poll here. Actually, let's go ahead and push this one out. And just to kind of further drive across this point that we're going to be talking about here at the beginning of this training session is, what percentage do you know what percentage of your presentations are being viewed by your clients? Is it 100%? Every time you send out a presentation, it's being viewed by the clients? Is it slightly less than that at 85? Or are you only getting maybe 3 out of 4 presentations viewed by your borrower? Or only maybe 1 out of 2 presentations viewed by your borrower? Let's get some feedback. And wow, this is kind of universal here. Are evenly distributed. The information that I'm seeing here is that it's almost, well, actually, it's now changed. So we're about 25% for each of those choices here. So some of the things that we're going to cover in today's presentation is, first off, how to deliver your presentation via text. That's one thing that we have to cover for you so that you know how to do that. And then also, as far as best practices go, how to increase the percentage of presentations that you're sending to your borrowers, how to increase getting those viewed. Because again, you've invested time in using this great tool that you have, Mortgage Coach, and you want your borrower to get the benefit of viewing that presentation. And then also, Star is going to share with you, how you can track that information, how often they're being viewed, setting goals for yourself. So that's the content that we're going to cover. And I think we have one more poll, right, Star?
We do, Brian. Let me launch that really quickly. The poll here is, I will launch it right now for you guys. And this one reads, are your clients currently reviewing the presentations on their mobile devices? Yes.
So
or
if we
no.
can get some feedback on that. So are you sharing this information with your clients, and do you know if they're viewing it on their mobile device, how they're viewing the presentation? And wow, this is pretty interesting here. So of the people that are participating in our poll, let's get a few more people in there. I've got only about a little more than half of you responded to this one. I'd like to get a little bit more feedback on this. See if we can get a few more people participating. But right now it stands that the majority of you are saying that your borrowers are not viewing the presentations on their mobile device, which is kind of interesting because, I don't know if you know it, we recently had the honor of being named the #1 mortgage app for home buyers to have on their mobile device. So this might be something that you might be missing out on, and we're going to cover some common objections that people might have to having it put onto their mobile device, so that you can get out ahead of those objections and get them to do it. And as I mentioned, we had the honor of being named the #1 mortgage application for home buyers to have by USA Today recently. So it's a great honor, and we just want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the tool that you have there. So let's first start off. Let's go ahead and participate in the poll. Let's first start off and make sure that you understand how to deliver your presentation from your mobile device so that you can get people to view the text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Android mobile device. Star, if you want to maybe tell them a little bit about how to download the mobile device, or how to get where they go to access the apps.
Sure. So to download the mobile apps on your devices, whether you have an Android phone or whether you have an iPhone, for my Android users, you would go to your Google Play Store, and for my iPhone users, you would go to your Apple Store and look for the Mortgage Coach icon. You have to type in Mortgage Coach, 2 words, select that particular app, and download and follow the installation prompts. It's very simple. I'm pretty sure you guys download apps every day, whether it's that Retail Me Not or the Gap app or whatever the case may be, Instagram. So I'm pretty sure you guys know how to do it, and it's just that simple for all of our users. And remember, the app is absolutely free.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get the my mobile device pulling up. Here it is right here. Let me go ahead and bring it over now. Whoa, that's a little bit big there. There we go. This is an Android mobile device. So I'm going to go ahead, pull it up, pull up my Mortgage Coach application. As Star mentioned, you go to the Google Play Store to get it with an Android device. So I'll just show you real quickly. There's the Play Store icon right there. Click on that. Do a quick search, Mortgage Coach, and these are the icons that you're going to look for. You can see this is the Mortgage Coach icon for the Mortgage Coach application. This is the Rate Watch. So you want to make sure that you have both of those installed on your mobile device, whether it's an Android or Apple phone. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull my Mortgage Coach application up. Now, out of curiosity, how many people have the app on their individual phone there? Go ahead and type that in the question area. Just simply type in yes or no if you've got that downloaded to your mobile device. Robert, thank you. Maury, yes. Tim, perfect. Hey, Tim, is this Tim from Hawaii? Michelle's no. Okay, Michelle, you've got to get it. You've got to get it downloaded to your mobile device. Ah, good job, Michelle. Good job. Okay, we have a few more people in there. Let's get a little bit more feedback in there. Let's see. Velia, Rob, Jay, John, Eloy. Hey, it is Tim. Hey, I'm glad that you made it home safe. I enjoyed meeting you at Sales Mastery. I hope you had a great time and got a lot of good content. Great meeting you. Okay, so with the Android device here, once you get the application downloaded to your mobile device, you're going to go ahead and click on the silhouette up there in the top left-hand corner. And when you do that, it's going to bring you to your login page. So once you enter your credentials one time, it'll go ahead and save it for you so that you don't always have to repeat entering your details, your credentials. I'm going to go ahead and sign in right now. I'm going to go to a client. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and randomly pick one. I'll go ahead and pick, say, John Parker. And what I'm demonstrating here is how you can deliver your presentation to your borrowers via text. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my borrower, John Parker, go to Total Cost Analysis. I'm going to go to View Report. It's going to pull up the standard disclosure. And by the way, I don't know if you folks know it, we had a recent release. You can see up here in the top right-hand corner, see where it says English version? We now have the presentation available in Spanish. So I don't know how many people are on the call today that have Spanish-speaking borrowers, but here's another reason for you to get them to download the application, because it might be much easier for them to understand your content. All you have to do is flip the switch, and there it is. Now it's ready to go in Spanish. I'll go ahead and I'm going to send it out. I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to go to comprendo rather than I understand. And if you take a look right down here, this is my share button here. And I probably should have left it in English because the majority of you are probably speaking English. But that basically means share in Espanol. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now this is an Android device, so that's where the share is going to appear. For you Apple users, you actually want to click on your virtual business card right up here. And when you do that, the share button will appear in this area here. So for those of you that have an Apple device and you're looking at it and you're going, well, I don't have that share button, click on your virtual business card there, and it'll appear in the top right-hand corner right up here. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what that share looks like. So I'm going to click on that. And then as I mentioned, I have the ability now to send this out via text or via email. And just as we talked about in that poll question earlier, what are you most likely to respond to? Are you going to respond to a text more quickly or an email more quickly? So you can send it out via text, And there's a couple other tips here that I'm going to go ahead and mention to you as well. While I'm doing that, though, I'm going to have Star actually come over and um, how you can go ahead and see who's viewing your presentations. Also, how you can set goals for yourself, where that's going to be located in your Mortgage Coach Edge dashboard. So, Star, you want to go ahead and jump in and
Sure, Bryan. Thank you. Okay, so I have already accessed my Mortgage Coach system by entering in my credentials to authenticate myself and log in. And if you do not have the address, you would definitely need to bring up a browser, type in edge.mortgagecoach.com, and save that to your favorites for Windows-based users or to your bookmarks if you are a Mac user. So I know a lot of you may come into the system here and go straight to new client or do straight to new partner if you're doing those open house flyers or those seller buy downs, or whether you're doing those TCAs, total cost analysis, refinances, or purchase. You may bypass some additional information that may help you. So right here, when Bryan discussed the goals, so right here you can definitely see that as of today, I have about 115 presentations that I have created. I am a trainer, so that may be a little bit less than what Bryan has. I know he has hundreds, and you may have hundreds because you may be using this for a long time and with all of your day-to-day customers. But right here, what I want to mention is my goal is 125. So how it helps me to know if I'm obtaining that goal, and I can always adjust that goal. So just like in a normal production environment, at month end you may have one set of goals, and then for the next month you may have a new set of goals. Maybe for the month of October you have 50 customers in your pipeline. So to help you, if you add 50 here, then your goal will increase to what, 165. So to edit your goal here, you would hit edit, and you can always increase this number to wherever you see fit, or however, whatever number or your target number or goal that you want to hit. So you can always make that adjustment here to remind yourself, are you at target? Are you close to hitting that goal? And you can do the same thing here for your partners as well. So I have 9 partners, but my goal is 15. So I really need to step up my game here. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about with the goal. So before I move over to report tracking, Bryan, is there something that you want to share?
I just wanted to mention it's like a lot of other things. I mean, to 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 get to somewhere, you got to set a goal for yourself, and you got to start working towards that goal and seeing yourself make progress to that step, to that particular goal. So STAR has demonstrated to you, how you can keep yourself on track and work towards that particular goal. And just a couple of thoughts about that is that if you're using Mortgage Coach and you deliver the Mortgage Coach habit, where you're building a presentation for each and every client, it's going to be very easy for you to accomplish that goal. And rather than limiting yourself to, that special borrower that gets your total cost analysis presentation, develop the habit that each of your borrowers get the total cost analysis presentation. It's going to be easier for you to go ahead and achieve that goal. And just like a lot of other things, it's a numbers game. The more presentations that you send out, the more opportunities that you're going to have to go ahead and convert. But you have to set yourself up with some goals and keep yourself working towards them. So just like going to the gym, trying to lose weight, whatever your particular goal is, trying to hit a certain number of units a month or a certain number of volume, set yourself up with some Mortgage Coach goals. Go ahead there, Star.
Great, thank you, Bryan. So now let's review the report tracking. So here is another area that you can also see some of the trends. So in the report area, you can either see all reports, or you can hone down to see maybe how many of the reviews you had for your total cost analysis only, maybe your rent versus own, or your seller buy downs, and so forth. So you can see that data right here for you as well. But right here in the report tracking, regarding those presentations that you have sent to your customer, you can see how many times those presentations were reviewed. Like, for example, my presentation for Steve, it was reviewed 9 times. Or about my Jamie Nandino, 14 times, and so forth. I have a few that I was reviewing the other day, I think was up to 43 times, but I have to find that one. But you get the concept here where you can actually take a look to see, one, if the presentation wasn't reviewed at all, maybe your customer is not engaged. But if it was reviewed multiple times, maybe your customer is really diving deep into your presentations, maybe sharing that with their spouse, domestic partner, maybe their investor partner, whatever the case may be, maybe they're sharing it as well. So at least you can see some traction and you can actually see that the presentation is being reviewed, the concept is there, and also the education is being driven. So I'm going to pause here for any questions that you may have when it comes to just reviewing the report tracking, maybe capturing how many times it was reviewed, and also setting those goals for yourself. So I'll take a moment to give you a second to ask any questions right there in the webinar. You will locate a control panel to the right, and that's where you can freeform your questions, comments, and feedback, and we can address it on today's call.
And also remember, folks, this call is for you. It's a Q&A session. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the training session, we're going to take a little pause here, give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have about the content that we've already delivered. But if there's something that you wish for us to cover for you that's important to you, don't hesitate to put that in the question area as well. So we'll just do a quick pause here.
Don't be shy. This time is definitely for you. Okay. Well, I've been monitoring the question queue, and it doesn't seem like we have any questions at this point, Bryan.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue on with, like I said, the content that we're going to be delivering. Now, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned make sure that you have the Edge, Mortgage Coach Edge application downloaded to your mobile device. And did somebody put a question in there? Do you want to go ahead and address that?
Yeah, so there's a question here. It says, I tried doing a total cost of waiting analysis, but there isn't a way to show the 1-year wait and adjust for negative appreciation.
Oh, that's a great question there. Yeah, let's make sure. Who asked that? Sorry.
That came from Robert.
Okay, Robert. We'll make sure that we address that, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get through a little bit more content on just making sure that everybody understands, the importance of delivering your presentations, how to deliver your presentations, how to report or keep track of how often your presentations are being viewed. But we'll be happy to get to that question as well. So maybe at the about the 20-minute mark, we'll make sure that we'll get that for you. Okay, so I mentioned to you folks earlier about making sure that you have the Mortgage Coach application downloaded to your mobile device. You're also going to want to make sure that you have the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile device. Now, why would you want the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile device? Let me go ahead and pull over my mobile phone again. And when I do that, you can take a look and you can see, the current market conditions right now, of course. I mean, you're going to get the benefit of that. I mean, that's a whole nother training session. But what I wanted to make sure is that you realize what has happened. Let me go ahead, hit on my menu. So I'm going to hit on the menu bar up here. Is that anytime one of your Mortgage Coach presentations is viewed by your borrower, let me just make sure I'm in the correct account here. So anytime one of your Mortgage Coach presentation is viewed by your borrower, and I tried to pop a couple in there, you will get a notification that the presentation has been viewed. Now, the only way that you could do that is if you want to get a text alert sent to you, is make sure that you go into your settings area down here and see where it says email and SMS alerts. Make sure that you allow yourself to get those alerts sent to you. And oh, I know why I'm not getting them. I don't have my phone number in there. That's why. I must have been making some adjustments in a training session. But these are the steps that you want to go ahead and make sure that you take. Make sure that you, if you want to enable email and get those notifications that your presentation has been viewed, if you want to get the commentary emails about what's happening in the market, make sure that you have that checked. Repricing alerts, very important. Anytime that, that there's a shift in the market, you want to make sure that you get those adjustments, and then enable text messages. You want to make sure that you put your phone number in there so that you can get that text message. That's something that you won't get unless you have the Rate Watch application downloaded to your mobile device. So again, the importance of having that installed there for you. So keeping that, that same theme going along, what I'd like to do is we can start talking about maybe some best practices again on delivering your presentations to your borrowers, because you take the time to build the presentation, and the delivery of your presentation is a very important part to get that pull through. Many of you put that your borrowers are only viewing maybe 25% of your presentations that you send out. Some of you are getting 100% of the presentations that you send out viewed. So there's a big variance in there. So let's go ahead and cover some best practices. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up an email. So when you deliver your presentations to your borrowers, I'm going to give you maybe some best practices that you want to keep in mind for delivering your presentation. So let me get my email up here.
While Bryan does that and pull up his email, I do have a question for you guys. Not only do you have to deliver the best way, also implement your best practices, but I want to know from those on the line, how many of you are adding video? Because that is definitely another best practice to drive home the education to your customers to ensure, one, they understand what they're looking at, two, you personalize it so they can put a face behind the name and really show your customer and really drive that education. So I want to know how many on the call right now are doing video, whether you're adding video on your mobile or on the browser. So if you can just answer that in the sometimes needs to do 100%, some says no. Why no? The way you look in person is the same way you look on video, right, Bryan?
We're getting a lot of no's in there, and I'm surprised. You really have to kind of get past, it's not about you, it's about your borrower. And as Star mentioned, it's really going to help your borrower understand the content that you're providing, but it's also going to help them interpret your presentation, but it comes directly from you, and the information that you provide when you include a video, it helps you so that it's not subjective as to how they're interpreting that information. You can drive across the points that are important so that if there's somebody else that might be a decision maker that you don't know of, that you're not aware of, they're getting the same content, and it could be a way of potentially overriding them. So let me go ahead and switch here. I'm going to go ahead and show my screen here. Whoops. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move and show you this particular email that I've got teed up. And what I would suggest as far as best practices go is get yourself some email templates. And what I mean by email templates is that you'll start to realize this when you're delivering your total cost analysis presentations to your borrower, and you type the same content about the third or fifth time that you're going to go ahead and send out to your borrower. What I mean by that is that all you're going to really have to do is change the name of your borrower and the link. So if you develop these email templates and store them, all you have to do is change the name of your borrower and then the link that's specific to them, and drop that into your presentation. It can save you not only valuable time, but you delivering a consistent presentation to each and every one of your borrowers. Now, the other thing that you'll notice down here on the bottom is you want to get out ahead of any type of objections that your borrower may have to viewing the presentation on their mobile device. So if you take a look, I'm sharing with my borrower that by clicking on the link from your mobile device, you'll be prompted to download the application to view your payment options. The application is safe. That's usually the number one objection, is that they want to make sure that it's safe. It's not going to create any type of a virus onto their mobile device. And then the next thing that you want to make sure that you add, that it's not going to require a large amount of memory.
We have a question from your friend Tim, Bryan. Are you able to post the verbiage at the bottom?
If you could cut and paste, I'll go ahead and I'll leave it up a little bit. But you could go ahead and feel free to copy that. I mean, that's my own little verbiage. I'm sure you could put a much better spin on it than myself, Tim. But you're welcome to go ahead and take a look and copy that. So you gotta, like I say, get out in front of the objection. So if you're already telling them these things that the most common objections are, they're going to be less likely to go ahead and not want to download the application. So it's safe, requires a minimal amount of memory space on their mobile device, and it's free. That's probably the three most common objections. So if you can get the borrower over that, they're going to get the benefit of having that downloaded to their mobile device. You're going to get the benefit of owning real estate on their mobile device. And then the positive things about that is that you can provide them with updated information while they're out shopping for a home. They could be literally standing in the front yard of the home with their realtor and fall in love with a particular house, ask you to update the numbers, and you could quickly jump into your wizard, update the numbers, and they'll see exactly how that impacts their monthly payments.
I have another question. This one is from Robert. Is there a way to have the NMLS number, company, and photo automatically when you click on the share presentation without having to manually enter the info? It is hard to do this on the phone. So there is a way to do this, and I'm not really sure. We'll have to take a look at how your settings are, Robert. But when you are in the Mortgage Coach Edge system, you should already have your photo uploaded with your company's logo, with the address, the phone number, and your NMLS information there as well in your settings. So that's already set up for you.
And then Mari had a question. He's wondering about the Spanish version. So when you get to the mobile app, and I'll go ahead and I'll pull my phone up again. Let me go ahead and move my phone over. There we go. So when you get to your mobile app, you take a look and you go to a total cost analysis presentation. The Spanish button is actually on the mobile app, okay, so it's not going to be on the laptop or desktop version. Go ahead and go back. So right up here in the top right-hand corner, you can see Spanish or English. Good question, Mari. So Spanish or English. So if you have a borrower that prefers to see your presentation in Spanish, flip of a button, you can go ahead and provide that information to them. So there you go. So make sure that you folks are making use of the email templates. Make sure that you make use of the email templates. It's going to be much easier for, like I said, time-wise. It's going to save you time. I would suggest having, a refinance email template already prepared, a purchase, a pre-approval. Some of the most common ones, like I said, you folks are going to realize that when you type the same email about the fourth or fifth time, and you're going to be going, you know what? There's got to be an easier way. I've got to be able to save myself some time in doing this. Save it as an email template, and I would say get in the practice of making sure that you add that verbiage that Tim was mentioning that I demonstrated on the bottom of the email, so that you can set their mind at ease about viewing the presentation on their mobile device. And then Mari had a question, is there a way to print a sample in Spanish? So right now the way it stands is that the borrower needs to have it on their mobile device to get access to a Spanish presentation. So many times in working with a borrower that prefers to speak in Spanish, they may not be too, say, technology savvy, but I can guarantee you this: if they have any kids, their kids will have a mobile device, and will be able to download it and help their parents out most likely.
And one little tidbit for that. So the Spanish option is only offered now on the mobile device. So if you wanted to print out your presentation in a Spanish version on the browser, you are unable to print out the presentation in Spanish at this time. So that was part of Murray's question. So yeah, so definitely. So more to come. We're trying to be innovative, so more to come on that. But as of right now, you can print in English and you can review on your mobile device in Spanish.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So at this time, I think we covered a lot of the concerns that we were talking about as far as the polls that we were looking for. Getting you folks thinking about how you can deliver your presentations via text, how best practice-wise it can help you deliver your presentations via email. And now we can go ahead and we'll transition into addressing any of those questions that you have. Let's see here. I believe it was it Robert that had the question right off the bat. So we'll go ahead and we'll start working with Robert's question. But again, this is a time, any questions that you had, any challenges that you've had in building a mortgage coach presentation, now is the time to go ahead and get those taken care of so that we can help you with that. So I'm going to go ahead and read Robert's question so that everybody can know what we're talking about and know what the benefit is in doing this particular content. Okay, so Robert was doing a cost of waiting analysis, but is there a way to show the 1-year wait and adjust for negative appreciation? So I think you were talking about a cost of waiting presentation. Yes, cost of waiting presentation. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with a cost of waiting presentation, it's a very powerful presentation that you could share with both realtors and borrowers to show the effect that, if you wait, what potentially could happen with the market and how that would have an impact on your monthly payment. Now, this is Star's Mortgage Coach presentation. Our Mortgage Coach. Star, do you have a cost of waiting presentation?
I think that I do, Brian. Let's see. Here we go. Here's one. Here's a sample.
Okay, let's go ahead and pull this one up. Okay, it looks like she did it as a marketing presentation, which is, by the way, a good way to do it if you're working with, a group of realtors at a lunch and learn, or maybe a group of first-time home buyers, and explaining, what potentially can happen. Realtors really like this presentation. Let me real quickly go to it, and it looks like, okay, we have 2 products there, and
I think I have some more as well. And if you want to go to view all, I have a few more.
Why don't you go ahead and jump in and see if you can pull it up.
Okay, let me try to get an example here of an additional cost to waiting.
We're going to put Stars built, I think she said 105 presentations, and her goal is to get to 125. Let's take a look at this one and see here. Let's see what type of products we've got in here. Yeah, now she's got 4 products in here. And this is the most common way a cost of waiting presentation is built. Let me go ahead and do a quick preview here, and we'll kind of explain it, and then we'll go ahead and we'll address Robert's question there. So let's do a quick preview. Oh, and there's Star. Got their video on it.
There's that video.
Make sure you add that video. Okay, so you have four products when you're building a cost of waiting presentation. You can see the very first product here, which is what the borrower can go ahead and take advantage of under the current market conditions. So, and these rates, of course, could be adjusted depending upon how the market flows, purchase price. Any of this data could go ahead and be adjusted. So in this particular one, Stars indicated that the borrower could take advantage of getting a 3% rate. This is what their monthly payment would be at this point in time. So if they get cold feet and they decide that they want to wait and they're looking for a price drop in the home, they think it's going to drop, or maybe they just felt dejected by the seller not willing to allow them to get the price that they're looking for. A lot of times you have a buyer and a seller being separated by just a few $1,000s. In this case, it's only $20,000, and preventing the deal from going through. So you could show them that, if you sit on the fence and you wait, well, if you do happen to come across another property and you're able to get that price drop that you're looking for, but rates go up a half a point, what's that going to do for your monthly payment? Well, it's not really going to have a significant change in the monthly payment. It's only going to be, it looks like in this particular presentation, a matter of just $30. So do you really want to risk waiting to have a change of $30 in a monthly payment and not get the property that that you really, really want? You're only being separated by maybe a matter of, this case, $20,000 or $25,000 with the two purchase prices here. And then the next one would be the no drop. Well, what happens if you don't get that drop and rates go up? Well, what effect is that going to have on your monthly payment? It's going to have a pretty substantial increase from where you're at. You don't get that benefit. So the rates go up a half a point. What impact is that going to have on your monthly payment? And then the last one is like the worst case. Not only does the price increase, but rates go up as well. So now you're in a situation where, because you chose to sit and wait on that fence, Mr. Borrower or Mr. Buyer, look what could potentially happen. The market's increasing with prices and rates. Look what happens to your monthly payment. So to address Robert's question, he was mentioning that he wanted to go ahead and show negative appreciation. So in your analysis area, so you're going to go back into the wizard here, in the analysis area, and if you have property appreciation rate, I think this is what you're referring to, Robert, you can adjust this number accordingly. I've never really tried to enter negative appreciation, and it doesn't look like I can enter a negative number there. So I believe that's what you're referring to, is trying to show negative appreciation, and it looks like I can't. So that would be something that maybe we could potentially have our development team take a look at. I would hate to go back to where we were in the market where we had negative appreciation, and I hope that you're not in an area where you might be getting experiencing negative appreciation. But you might have a strategy too that you're trying to utilize with the negative appreciation that perhaps maybe that you have in mind there. So first reason deducted from the total amount. I hope that addressed your question, and if not, we can work with you and maybe get a little bit more detail specifically about what type of strategy that you're trying to put together in doing that. But yes, I would agree. Tim made the comment that it's a very good presentation to have, and I would suggest that you have this in your Mortgage Coach dashboard as one of the templates that you keep. And as Star did it, she did it as a marketing presentation. You could see over here, so that she could quickly do a copy analysis and make it specific to a borrower, so that when she encounters a borrower in a certain situation, she could take the template that she already created, do a copy analysis. And Star, you want to go ahead and demonstrate that? You're a little bit more familiar with your Mortgage Coach dashboard than myself. So what she'll do is she'll go back to the home.
So I'm going to go to home. I'm going to go to view all, search, and I'm going to find that copy that wait, okay, here it is. I did it July 19th. I just want to make sure I remember where it was. I have so many. So if I want to copy it, you see here to go into the presentation, I can double click here in this area or click once, and you see I have some additional options to the right. So I could copy this same analysis if I wanted to. And this is where Bryan was discussing. I can now copy it to a new client should I choose to do so. So I have that marketing piece, but maybe I have a new borrower, Mr. and Mrs. Jane Doe, and now I want to copy to a new client, click OK, and I have that option to do that. So that's exactly how I would do it.
Go ahead and hit that, and then now.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah, do a copy analysis. You can go ahead and delete it. So a new client, and then when you go in, you can take a look and see now it's set up so that it would go to a specific individual. So the benefit to you, again, is as far as best practices go, if you have this presentation built, now you have something that was already pre-built. You just make a little bit of edits, and you can make it to a specific individual, and you don't have to recreate the whole presentation. That's one of the benefits of having these type of templates saved and ready to call up at your disposal. And let's see here, Robert, it looks like you're still trying to work on that. What I would suggest is, we can reach out to you, and I'm trying to show that a drop in price is still offset by a higher interest rate. Okay, I think that's what we accomplished in that second one right here. So, oh, okay, I think I understand now. You're actually trying to, yeah, that's actually what's happening in this particular product right here, Robert. So his question was that he's trying to show that a drop in price, you can see that here we have your purchase price at $425, and the second column right here, even though the price dropped to $400,000, that's a differential of $25,000, the rate changed by half a point. And you could dial these numbers in so that the net effect to the borrower is basically zero. So I think that addresses your question there, Robert, so that you can adjust the numbers to show them that if your rate were to increase by this amount, but yet you were able to buy the price at that lower price option, the net effect to you would be basically zero. So you can adjust those as you want, and that's typically what's demonstrated here in the second column. Let me clear these highlights here and then go to this column. So that's what the wait for drop notation is. Very good presentation for you. And I believe if you go into our support center, we might even have a quick YouTube presentation for those of you that don't have it, but you could go into cost of waiting, type that in, do a search, and there you go, how to build a cost of waiting presentation. So it'll outline the steps for those of you that haven't taken advantage of that, of how to build it. Quick YouTube presentation, probably 10 minutes or less, and then that way it makes it easier for you to do it around your schedule. So just an easier way for you to access that information. All right, so we still have the question area open, and I'm kind of surprised. We have quite a few people on the call. I mean, I guess we could take it this way, that it's good that you folks aren't encountering a lot of issues with Mortgage Coach, but I want you folks to know that we're here for you. If there's something in particular that you want to get covered, and yes, there you go, Tim. Boom, there you go. That's where you can find it, located in the support center. Just so that you know, folks, the typical, I guess you could say, the notation is we have your buy now for your first column, the wait for drop. The wait for drop basically demonstrates, yes, should you get the price break, but rates increase. Third column, your third product is going to be what happens if you don't get the drop in price, but your rate increases and how that impacts your payment. Fourth product is, I guess you could say, worst case scenario. Not only does the rate go up, but your price goes up as well. All right, well, we covered the content that we wanted, and I'll be happy to hang out here for a few more moments if you have any additional questions. For those of you that need to go, I want to thank you
Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Starlet Johnson, and I am the co-host today with Bryan.
We thought we'd do a joint training event here. Sometimes it's nice to get a little bit different perspective, different voice, I guess you could say. So, again, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those. For those of you that need to go, thanks so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in future training sessions. And Velia, yeah, we'll be happy to reach out to you. Got your number. We'll touch base with you. So for those of you that need to go, thanks so much again. Have a great day, and we're just going to hang out here. Aloha to you too, Tim. I'm still going to work on getting that training session, that branch training session there in Hawaii, and make that happen somehow. And let's see here, Robert. Good, Velia. I'm glad to see that you downloaded the app. And Robert, I think I'm going to reach out to you so I can get a little bit more details of what you're looking for in your presentation. You might have an interesting spin on what you're trying to accomplish. You know, we provide you folks with these the tools, and I'm always interested to see how you folks are able to take the tools that are provided to you and even make it a step forward and build these incredible presentations. Oh, and Velia, you mentioned that you downloaded the app to your mobile device and it's asking for a link. So it'll give you the message. If you've been provided a link, please enter that now. You can just go ahead and ignore that and just hit the silhouette in the top left-hand corner and make sure that you put your credentials in. That's there. Let me go ahead and I'll pull over my mobile device here again. So as you see on my phone here, you'd hit the silhouette up here in the top left corner. And then go ahead, whoops, let me go ahead and go back. This is where you go ahead and put in your credentials. Perfect, you got it, great. All right, folks, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for joining me. And Star.
Take care, guys.
Take care, bye-bye.